live stream. Thank you for joining. And it is 10:03 p.m. on April 16th, 2024. And I have something very important to discuss regarding the migrant crisis. But before I start, I would just like to know who's here. So if you are tuning in, please say hello in the live chat window and introduce yourself if this is your first time joining a live stream. And if you have joined my live stream before, if you are a returning viewer, please just say hello so I know who's here. I have gotten to know a lot of new friends, a lot of new members of this. You can call it a free speech community. It's a community. This channel is a community where people can exercise their First Amendment right to free speech and share their thoughts, share their comments on various social and political issues, both domestic and international. So as you are joining, please write something in the chat window so I know who's here. Okay, I see a couple people are here. I'm gonna wait for you to write some comments in the chat window. In any case, I'm gonna wait for another minute before I get started with the discussion. There's something very shocking that I'm gonna be discussing, and it pertains to the migrant crisis. And if you have been watching my channel for a while, then you know that I strongly support border security and I strongly oppose illegal immigration. So I oppose illegal immigration, and I think we need to secure the southern border and stop the influx of illegal immigrants. So my friends, I'm going to wait for maybe a few more seconds before starting the discussion. I see somebody has liked my video, and because you've liked my video, I'm hoping that you'll also participate in the live chat. Okay? All right, my friends. By the way, I don't know if you can hear it on video, probably not, but there's very heavy rain outside. And there's heavy rain, but a while back, earlier this evening, there was heavy storm, thunderstorm, and there's still a lot of lightning. You can occasionally hear the thunder, and you can hear the raindrops, the big raindrops falling. And I have a window here, right, like here in this direction. I have a window, and I can hear the raindrops on the window, hitting the glass. And so heavy rain right now, but earlier there was such intense storm. In fact, if you want to know how intense the storm was, I posted a YouTube shorts, so a short video. It's, if you go to my channel, the homepage, and you click on shorts, you'll be able to see the YouTube shorts that I posted when the storm was at its peak. Okay, it was at its peak, and as I was videotaping, I had my phone camera, I was videotaping what was going on outside, and you just couldn't see anything. There wasn't any visibility. It was so intense. All right, so we're past 4 minutes. I'm gonna get started with the discussion here, my friends. A Democrat-controlled city, and you're gonna guess the name of the city, okay? A Democrat-controlled city made an announcement that there will be $45 million in funding for programs for the migrants, okay? Oh my God. What am I going to say? I mean, $45 million in funding for programs for the migrants. This is happening in a Democrat-controlled city. And so what's also happening is that there are budget cuts. There are budget cuts in the city because if the city is looking to provide more funding for the migrants, then budget cuts will have to take place somewhere else to kind of, balance it, to come up with. So what's basically happening is that this city, this Democrat controlled city, the city leaders, okay, they are really not leaders, but for the sake of completing a sentence, I'm going to call them leaders because they are in positions, they are in elected positions. But in terms of true leadership, there isn't any in this city, okay? Especially when you see that leaders, these so-called leaders, they are looking to cut services to provide more funding for the migrants. So what's happening is that this city, and I'm going to reveal the name, but if you want to make a guess, you can make a guess and write in the chat window. This city is going to cut police funding. The city is going to cut budget for the police. There's going to be an $8 million budget cuts for police department, okay? And tens of millions of dollars for the migrants. This is shocking, but I'm going to ask you, can you guess what city I am talking about? What city I'm referring to that's going to cut police funding to provide services for the migrants? Do you know what city I'm talking about? I'm going to give you a few seconds. If you know what city it is, please write it in the chat window. Just make a guess. I told you it's a Democrat-controlled city. So that kind of narrows it down, right? I mean, it's a major city, okay? Not as big as New York, okay? It's not New York. I'm not talking about New York today, but it's still a pretty major city. Sheriff of YouTube is here. Welcome, Sheriff. It's so wonderful to see that you're here. And Sheriff of YouTube, if I remember correctly, Sheriff, which I do, you're from Canada, and thank you for coming back and writing your comments, Sheriff. So, Sheriff, can you make a guess what American city I'm talking about? The city that's looking to cut $8 million in police funding to provide money for programs for the migrants. Any guess? I see there are a few people who tuned in for this live stream, for this live chat. Just make a guess. Name a city. It's Democrat-controlled city. All right. 10 seconds, my friends, to make that guess. After that, I'm going to give you the name, all right? I'm doing a countdown. 10 seconds. Might not be exact 10 seconds. Might be a little more. All right, 10 seconds up. Sheriff of YouTube writes Portland. Well, Sheriff, interesting guess. And I understand why you said Portland, because Portland has got so many problems, right? I mean, I should do a separate live stream, or maybe I should talk about Portland and probably Seattle at some point. Seattle and Portland. Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon. I should be talking about those two cities. But today I'm talking about Denver. Denver, Colorado. Cutting police funding to provide money for programs for illegal immigrants. So the people of Denver, the leaders of Denver, the elected officials in Denver, they care more about the migrants than they do about the American people living in Denver. All right? Denver, can you believe that? So the Denver Police Department will see a budget cut of $8.4 million, which is reportedly 1.9% of its budget. Okay? I mean, this is unbelievable. So Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, I mean, this guy, I think he's running for the position of the worst mayor in America, although Eric Adams now has that position, if you ask me, okay? But I think Mike Johnston is kind of trying hard. He's saying, oh my God, Eric Adams is the worst mayor in the country? No. It's time to be the worst mayor in the country. So Mike Johnston seems to be running for that position. He's trying to defeat Eric Adams. Mike Johnston of Denver is saying, you know what? Eric Adams, um, it's time for a new worst mayor of America. Okay, so this guy from Denver, Mike Johnston, he seems to be running for that position to be the worst mayor in America, to defeat Eric Adams, to kind of because Eric Adams is like the star of in the list of the worst mayors in America, and so Johnston is trying to capture that number one position. So Mike Johnston, the mayor of Denver, he announced a funding package of $45.9 million. $45.9 million to fund programs for illegal immigrants, but they don't call them illegal immigrants. They call them newcomers. All right? All these foreign nationals who completely disregard our nation's immigration laws, and they come in, they walk in, and they expect all kinds of free stuff, right? I mean, they come into America, they march in, and they expect, oh, now we're in America, everything should be free, free stuff, free stuff. That's what they want. They want free stuff. And so what's going on? People like Mike Johnston, I mean, horrible mayor. Horrible mayor. I mean, very soon, he's going to be the worst mayor in the country. Eric Adams is going to be number 2 very soon. And maybe Brandon Johnson will also be inspired, and maybe he's also going to do things that will put him in number 1 spot in the list of the worst mayors. I think these guys are competing. I think Brandon Johnson and Mike Johnston and Eric Adams, they're kind of competing because Eric Adams wants to hold on to his position, the position of the worst mayor in America. And Mike Johnston and Brandon Johnson are trying to kind of unseat Eric Adams and capture that number 1 spot in the list of the worst mayor in America. So Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, this guy, he announced a package of $45.9 million to fund programs for illegal immigrants. She calls them newcomers. They're not newcomers. They're illegal immigrants. Okay, for 2024, fund programs for 2024. Give these illegals all kinds of free stuff. And, reportedly this 45.9 million, this is in addition to 44 million. So this 45.9 million is in addition to the 44 million in funds that have, in funds that have already been secured, for the migrants. And so now the police department in Denver will see its budget reduced by $8.4 million. As I said, according to reports, it's 1.9% of its budget. This is what's going on in Denver. This is Denver. This is an American city. An American city. Denver is an American city that's basically sending a message to the Americans that the city officials don't care about them. The city officials do not care about the illegal, they do not care about the American citizens. They care about the illegal immigrants. That is the message that Denver officials are sending to the whole world. They're sending a message that they don't care about American citizens. They care about illegal immigrants. They love the illegal immigrants to the extent that they don't call them illegals. They call them newcomers. Newcomers are here. I mean, these newcomers, they violated our nation's laws. They violated our nation's laws. They came into this country and they are demanding free stuff. They just want to relax. They're not here to work. They want to relax. They want to hang out. They want to live in free shelters and free hotels. They want free food, free clothing, free bus passes, so on and so forth. And people like Mike Johnston are making it possible. They're giving all kinds of free stuff to the illegals, illegal aliens, illegal immigrants. They're illegals. They're not newcomers. Illegal, illegals. They are illegals. And they are here taking away our tax dollars, receiving all kinds of services that Americans are paying for. And it's possible because of these Democrats that control power in so many cities across the country: Chicago, Denver, New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles. Shall I talk about Los Angeles now? Shall I talk about Los Angeles? Enough of Denver, right? Let's talk about Los Angeles. But before that, my friends, I want to ask you, please write something in the chat window. Participate. Participate in the discussion. Express your views. Express your thoughts. Express your opinions. Be vocal. Be fearless. Okay? Be fearless. Be vocal. That's what I said on April, what was the date? On April 13th, I delivered a speech at the 2nd Congressional District Caucus, the GOP caucus here in Wisconsin, in Cross Plains, which is about 6 to 7 miles from here by car. It's not that far. That's where I went on the morning of Saturday, April 13th, and I delivered a speech in which I said, at the end, I said, we have to be vocal. We have to be fearless. And that's what I do. I use my writing, I use my speech, I write and I speak to express my thoughts, my opinions, my views, and to exercise my First Amendment right. I have freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. And so I exercise my freedom of speech to share my thoughts and opinions, and I do it in a very vocal way, and I do it fearlessly, and that's what I encouraged others to do. I said, be vocal, be fearless. And so now I'm going to talk about Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. Do you know what I'm going to say about Karen Bass? Any idea? Any idea? What do you think about Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, City of Angels, once upon a time, a great city, now being destroyed by Democrat politicians and their policies? So Mayor Karen Bass basically now is asking the wealthy in the city, the wealthy, to help fund housing for the homeless people. Okay, so this is her new strategy to tackle, this homelessness issue in the city of Los Angeles. And so she's asking the wealthy people, the rich people in the city, to provide housing for the homeless. Okay, my friends, this, keeping aside what she said, I mean, let me just tell you, it kind of confuses me a little bit, okay? First of all, if a wealthy person decides to buy the homeless people a house, or to provide houses for the homeless, or wants to pay for accommodation for the homeless, or wants to build a shelter, or wants to build some kind of a living, some kind of a structure that would house the migrants, that's fine. Not migrants, the homeless, that's fine. I'm assuming that these homeless are American homeless. Okay? Because that's what I keep saying, that we have to focus on helping the Americans. We have to focus on helping the Americans who are homeless, the Americans who are suffering because of food insecurity, the Americans who are suffering because they don't have appropriate clothing for the season. So if it's cold, maybe a lot of American citizens who are struggling financially, maybe they don't have warm clothes for the winter season. Situations like that. So if wealthy individuals decide to come forward and they want to provide housing to the homeless in Los Angeles, that's fine with me. That's fine. But I think that the help should be, the assistance should be geared towards the American citizens, okay, not the illegal immigrants who are here. And the other thing, the thing that confuses me is that the Democrats are the ones who always blame the wealthy, they blame the rich, right? Now, I I am not, as they say, in the top 1%, in the top 5%. The Democrats use these terms, right? When they refer to extremely successful people, they say, oh, the top 1% wealthy in America, blah blah blah. They don't pay taxes, blah blah blah. You hear that, right? How the Democrats, they always go after the rich and the wealthy, and they say, oh, the wealthy are not paying taxes, corporations are not paying taxes, blah blah blah. So we see that, we hear that, and we hear how Democrats, they want to increase taxes on the wealthy. Okay. We have heard that, and we have heard how Democrats, they say that, oh, corporations are making profits and they are bad, and so they demonize profits. I mean, if companies are making profits, the Democrats don't like it, right? They don't like it. And now, all of a sudden, whereas the Democrats are the ones, the liberals are the ones who always blame the rich, who always blame the wealthy, and I'm just telling you my fair assessment. I'm just giving you what information from my own observation. I see this all the time. I don't think it's a problem to be rich or wealthy. If somebody is a millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire, I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's a problem, because if people work hard and they succeed and they make money, that's fine. That's fine, as long as they do it legally, as long as they do it ethically, as long as they do it in the proper way, and they work hard and they invest and they take risks, and they make profit, and they expand their business, and they succeed, and they grow. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as people are making money legally and ethically. There's nothing wrong with being rich or wealthy. But we always hear that the Democrats, they go after the wealthy, and the Democrats say, oh, the wealthy are bad, the wealthy aren't doing this, the wealthy aren't doing that. Now, all of a sudden, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is pleading. She's asking the wealthy to come forward and help, and to help the homeless. I mean, it doesn't really make sense, right? I mean, are you going to demonize the wealthy? Are you going to say that the wealthy are bad, and the wealthy are making money, which is wrong? I mean, that's what the Democrats say. They paint a very negative image of the rich and the wealthy, right? And all of a sudden, Mayor Karen Bass is reaching out to the rich and the wealthy and asking them to fund housing for the homeless people. So it really doesn't make sense. And once again, I'm going to say, if somebody wants to help the homeless, that's perfectly fine. But you have to make sure that you're helping the American homeless and not illegal immigrants. Because if you provide housing to the illegal immigrants, if you give them food, if you give them, all kinds of services, free medical services, so on and so forth, then that will incentivize more illegal immigration. And more illegal immigrants are going to be flooding into the country. And they are already doing that, because they know that the Democrat-run cities are giving them free stuff. And so Karen Bass, she's asking the wealthy to step up and to fund housing for the homeless. But you got to make sure that the homeless are American citizens and not illegal immigrants. All right, my friends, I'm going to take a few seconds break as I wait for you to write something in the chat window. Please write something in the chat window. I would appreciate it very, very much. Okay? My allergies. I mean, this is going to go on for a few weeks, my friends. So I hope you won't mind. All right? Forgive me for, all these sounds. Sounds of allergy, I would call it. All right, I'm gonna give you maybe a few more seconds to see if you want to write something, if you want to share some of your thoughts. I'm gonna wait here a little bit, okay? And then I'm gonna continue. All right, my friends. Let me continue. So, um, reportedly, the city of Los Angeles is struggling based on some remarks that Mayor Karen Bass recently made. The city is struggling to house more than 40,000 homeless people, more than 40,000 homeless people. Now, I have no way of knowing if this 40,000 figure means 40,000 American citizens who are homeless, or does this 40,000 number also include illegal immigrants who are homeless? So I have no way of knowing that. So I just want to point that out. And so she talked about the crisis on the streets of Los Angeles because there are so many homeless people on the streets, and so the city is facing challenges. Uh, Now, Karen Bass, during a recent speech, I think it was the State of the City address that she delivered on Monday, she talked about, um, this Inside Safe program that the city has, and how more than 21,000 homeless people were moved into temporary shelters, so on and so forth. So obviously, Karen Bass, when she's doing a State of the City address, she's going to try to highlight all the things that she has done, and all her efforts, and all her successful plans and successful initiatives, so on and so forth. I mean, this is what people do, right? They try to paint a picture of how successful they are, and how great their policies have been, so on and so forth. And so Karen Bass, mayor of Los Angeles, Democrat, obviously, a Democrat, she talked about how more than 21,000 homeless people were moved into temporary shelters, because of this Inside Safe program. But you know what? The reality is that homelessness is still a widespread problem in the city of Los Angeles. And so, you know, now Karen Bass is reaching out to the wealthy, to the rich, to ask them to step up. And so, let me just see something here. Karen Bass wants, you know, people from Los Angeles, those who are wealthy, who are successful financially. She wants them to be philanthropic, and to provide funds, and to help the city acquire more real estate, to house migrants. And so this is being called a new capital campaign, and they came up with a name. It's called LA for LA. Okay, LA for LA. It's like saying, hey, you're part of LA, you got money, why don't you help those who don't have money, who are homeless? Like I said, if the wealthy and the rich, they want to step forward and say that they're going to donate homes, or they're going to donate real estate to house the homeless, that's fine. But make sure that the homeless are American citizens and not illegal immigrants. Because we are seeing in many communities in the United States, we're seeing how the American citizens who are in need, who are homeless, who are at risk of homelessness, many veterans, many American veterans, people who sacrificed so much for the country, people who fought on the battlefield, people who served in the military, people who suffered bodily harm when they served in the military, people who sacrificed a great deal. Those veterans, many veterans, are now homeless or at risk of homelessness. So those American citizens, those veterans need help. So if any financially successful, rich, wealthy individuals, they want to make large donations to address the homelessness issue, then make sure that the money is going towards the American citizens who are homeless, the American veterans who are homeless, and not the illegal immigrants. Okay, that's the point that I wanted to make. And so I'm gonna be paying attention to what happens in Los Angeles, and as I know more, I'll share with you more updates. All right, my friends, do you have any questions at this time? We're past 30 minutes, and I have something else that I'm going to be talking about. But before I get to that, I want to know if you have any questions for me. I see a few people have joined. Please introduce yourself in the live chat window, participate in the conversation, share your thoughts, and just stay connected with my channel. By the way, how's the weather where you are? As I was saying earlier, we had very strong thunderstorm and it's still raining. Let me just take a look outside. It is still raining, still raining. And so, after this, I think the water is going to help the plants. So I'm sure what's going to happen afterwards is, after the storm is over, we're probably going to have a lot of flowers blooming, right? I think so. So, my friends, let me just see something here. All right. Do you have any comments, any questions you want to ask? If not, I'm going to move on to the next topic. We have heard, I'm sure you have heard too, a lot about work week, right? Should work week be 4 days, 5 days? I mean, right now it's 5 days, but some people advocate for reducing the number of days in a work week from 5 to 4. And so I know that there is a school district where such conversation took place, and I'm going to share with you some information. So there is a school district in Minnesota, and they're doing what's called challenging the status quo. All right, they're challenging the status quo, and here's what the school board ended up doing. The school board approved a motion. It was 6 in favor and 0 against. Okay, so the school board approved a motion for a 4-day school week. A 4-day school week, not 5 days, 4-day school week. And this is very interesting. It means that the kids are going to be spending less number of days going to school. Okay, so the school board approved it, and so you may be wondering what school district I'm talking about. This is the Carlton School District in Minnesota. All right, and so reportedly this switch from 5 days to 4 days could take place as soon as next year. And so you may be wondering what's going to happen. How are they going to manage in 4 days what's usually 5 days, right? Here's what's going to happen. Fridays would be off, so the weekend would be long. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that'll be the weekend. So Fridays will be off, and 25 minutes would be added to each regular school day. Okay? 25 minutes would be added to each regular school day. I don't know how that's going to work. And also reportedly, there will be childcare services offered to elementary students, and free breakfast and lunch would be given to students on Thursday to take home. So I guess what the school district is trying to do is, because they'll have Friday off based on this plan, based on this motion that was approved by the school board in Carlton School District, because the students, if this goes into effect, because the students would be off on Friday, So they'll be offered free breakfast and lunch on Thursday to take home. Susan Epp is here. Susan writes hello. Hello, Susan. Glad to see that you're here. Did you just join? Susan, we're talking about education and how the Carleton School District in Minnesota is changing the school week and moving and planning to move to a 4-day school week rather than a 5-day school week. So Fridays would be off, and the school board approved this motion 6-0. 6 in favor, 0 against. Okay, and so I don't know if this is going to be beneficial, how this is going to help the students. I really have no idea. I think 5 days in school is great. That's what I had growing up. I'm gonna need some more water. And so, 4-day school week, I really have no idea how this is gonna work. I don't think it's a good idea. And so the school board approved it, and now reportedly the board would have to submit an application to the Minnesota Department of Education. Susan writes, yes, I saw a long video that some cities want the kids to have online school so the schools can be migrant shelters. Great point, Susan. You see what's happening, Susan. If that's true, if what you're saying is what's happening, then you know what the plan is. The Democrats, these liberal politicians, they are trying to displace school students. And we have seen it's shocking. I talked about it. I talked about how migrants were placed in schools. And do you remember, Susan, the frustration that the parents felt and how upset they were, how angry, how annoyed they were? There was a lot of anger. There were news reports, and I saw those news reports. And I saw what the parents said when they found out that migrants were placed inside schools. Migrants inside schools. And Susan writes, while our own homeless are left with nothing. Susan, that's exactly what I mentioned earlier in the video. I think it was right before you came. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is now asking the rich and the wealthy in Los Angeles to come forward and provide funds for real estate and for housing for the homeless. And my whole point is that Democrats, they always demonize the rich and the wealthy. They complain that the rich and the wealthy are not paying their fair share of taxes. They're not paying this. They're not doing this. We got to tax them more, blah, blah, blah. We always hear that. We hear how the Democrats always complain about the rich and the wealthy and how the rich and the wealthy are not paying their fair share of taxes. We hear that. And now the same Democrats, somebody from that liberal camp, Karen Bass, is now asking the rich and the wealthy to provide housing for the homeless. And my whole point is it going to be American homeless or illegal immigrants who are homeless? Because I do not believe that a single dollar should go towards the illegal immigrants who are homeless. No, we're not going to help the illegal immigrants who are homeless, because we're going to help the American citizens who are homeless or at risk of homelessness, including our veterans. We have to take care of the veterans, my friends. So let me look at what Susan wrote. Susan wrote, that is a nice shirt. You look good in it. Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I like the shirt. And I feel like finally, I feel that our cold weather should be going away soon. I mean, as I said, we had strong thunderstorm today. It's still raining outside, but the heat seems to be, coming back. It seems like we're finally moving towards warmer weather. This week has been pretty good so far. We may have a little bit of cold weather over the weekend that's coming up, but other than that, I'm hoping that it's gonna be warm and stay warm, and so that means I can wear my favorite, you know, colored shirts. This is a half sleeve, and so I'm hoping that I can wear more light half sleeve shirts rather than sweaters and jackets, right? I mean, in Wisconsin, we face a lot of uh, cold days and harsh winter weather, and our vehicle tires get damaged because of all the salt and the snow. And anyway, so my friends, as I was saying, by the way, thank you, Susan. I appreciate your kind compliment. So as I was saying, this 4-day work week, this is bad because I think kids need to spend time in school so that they can learn, they can receive education, they can socialize, and they can learn communication skills. It's important. JW writes, hello, sorry joined late. JW, so wonderful that you're here. Not a problem that you joined late. We're continuing the conversation, and you can always go back and watch what you missed. Not a problem. As you know, my live videos are available. After the live stream ends, you can find these videos on my channel. So I would appreciate if you watch whatever you missed earlier in the live stream, and then obviously share my video with your friends, with your family members, with your neighbors, anyone you like. Just help me spread my word. Help me spread my message of freedom, my friends. I'm drinking a lot of water. All right. So, as I was saying, this 4-day work week, this 4-day school week is not a good idea. It is not a good idea, right? And I think our education sector has lots of challenges, lots and lots of challenges, and there are reports of obviously K-12 education. There are lots of challenges. There's tremendous room for improvement, but going beyond that, when you look at different colleges, there are some colleges that are facing financial challenges, and there are big public universities, private universities that are seeing a decline in enrollment. And so the education sector is going through lots of different changes. A lot of young folks, after they graduate high school, they are choosing not to go to college. They are going directly into the workforce. They are working rather than pursuing a 4-year education. Now, for some people, a 4-year education is great. For some people, maybe going directly into the workforce after graduating high school is a good option. People should have different choices. JW writes, and did you do your hair different? It's a nice haircut, makes you look younger. Well, JW, thank you so much. I feel like I'm getting compliments today. Thank you, I appreciate it. So, yes, you can see my hair is pretty short. I actually got a haircut. So my hair became very long. And so what date was it when I got the haircut? I think it was Friday. When I got the haircut. Badger Den is here. Badger Den, thank you so much for joining. Good to see that you're here. So as I was saying, I got a haircut. I went and got a haircut. You can see it's pretty short on the side, and it's pretty short on top also. So what I did was, a very different hairstyle. It's kind of like a teenage hairstyle, don't you think? I mean, when I was growing up, during my teen years, I didn't have this hairstyle. By the way, during my teen years, I did not have this hairstyle, but I think for a while it was very popular. You got a little spike here. Anyway, I got a haircut and makes me look younger. Thank you. It's great to know that it makes me look younger. My hair actually grew pretty long, but when I don't get haircut for, let's say, maybe like month and a half, 2 months, or maybe more than 2 months, it really doesn't grow long. It doesn't fall. It doesn't go down because my hair has a little bit of curl and some wave. So it's very wavy. So what ends up happening is it becomes more dense and thick. It becomes puffy rather than just going down. It becomes more thick, more dense. And at the back, I get a little bit of a wave. Anyway, so now it's really short. It could be shorter, but I usually don't have my hair cut shorter than this. This is as short as it'll usually go. Um, anyway, JW writes, yes, the younger guys have it maybe in their 20s, early 30s. Yeah. So I am, yeah, glad to know I look younger. All right, thank you. Badgerden writes, if anything, children should attend school more days than less. There are a lot of children that are falling behind. Exactly. You know, math and English, math and language, right? People will have to do good in reading and writing and math. And, you know, I hear a lot of people who say, I'm bad at math, I'm bad at math. And I understand math is not the, not the greatest strength for a lot of people. That's okay. I understand it. Like, I really struggle with chemistry. I mean, that's one subject that I really struggle with. I wasn't good at it. I didn't do very well. Okay, but I was good in math, good in English language and just literature and economics, political science. I mean, there are so many other subjects. Accounting, I was really good in accounting, but I was not good in chemistry. So I understand people have their strengths and weaknesses, but I think every child should try to spend a good deal of time learning math and focusing on reading and writing, right? And math is so important now. I don't know if any of you experienced this, but I, I have seen on a number of times I've seen how when I'm making a payment at the grocery store or at a cafe, I'm at the cash register, I'm making a payment. The young folks who work behind the cash register, the cashiers, they really struggle with counting. They really struggle with counting. It's pretty unbelievable. They struggle with counting. You know, if let's say you're buying food and it's $20. You're buying food, your total is $20. I'm just gonna use round numbers for ease. And sometimes the bill is a round number, right? I mean, it's not always decimals and they are always cents, and sometimes it's a round number. So, you know, if the and this is real life. This actually happened. The bill is $20. Hand over a $50 bill. So the cashier is supposed to give you back $30, right? They cannot do that math. I clearly remember this young cashier who was working at a cafe, was supposed to give me $30 back and just couldn't figure out. I gave a $50 bill, and I gave a $50 note. It was a $20 total bill. So, you know, I'm supposed to get back $30, right? The person couldn't figure out, without the help of, you know, whatever they have, where you, anyway. So, I mean, it's sad. It is sad. It is very, very sad. And then another time I handed a $2 bill. I mean, how many people know that there is $2 bill in this country? You don't see it very often, but there is $2 bill. So I handed a $2 bill to an individual, and she couldn't believe that it was real money. Okay? She couldn't believe it was real money. Anyway, it's kind of sad. And so you wonder what school is really teaching them, right? And so Badgerden, I agree that children should attend school more days than less, because American children in public schools are really falling behind. Okay, Badgerden writes, hey Toss, if I heard Blind to Billionaire talk about a payment of $500 to Americans because of the bad economy, I don't trust. Please. So I don't know who Blind to Billionaire. I don't know who that is. Is that a podcast? Let me see. Um. Oh, is that some other? Is that a podcast or something? Anyway. Um. $500 payment to Americans. I haven't heard that, to be honest with you. Um. Let's see. Mm, direct payment. I'm gonna look into it actually. Um, I'm gonna look into it. Thanks for mentioning that, Badgerton. I'm gonna look into it. JW writes, I was pretty good at chemistry. Wish I had went into that or molecular biology or something cool like that. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of appreciation for people who are good in chemistry, who are good in biology. Um, Biology I was okay, but chemistry I was really bad in chemistry. But I was great in physics. I was really good in physics. Okay. All right. Badgerton writes, "Where is Terry? I miss her." Well, I sent a text to Terry before the live stream. Um, I haven't seen if she responded yet or not, but I will let her know that you miss Terry. Hopefully, she'll join a future live stream soon. Um, Terry lives in South Dakota, so that's far, far away from Wisconsin, where I am. But Terry used to live in Greene County here, not far from Madison. So I'll text Terry and let her know that she's being missed here. um, let's see. Okay, JW writes, lady I was chatting with the other day mentioned a teenage girl working at store didn't know which coins were quarters versus dimes, nickels, and what their values were. It is sad. I mean, this is real. It does happen. JW, I have seen it. It is. I mean, you just have to wonder what's going on with the education sector. If kids can't count, if they cannot count dimes and nickels and quarters, it is so shocking. And I mean, this is one of those things I feel like I'm gonna be speechless because I don't know what to say. It is really sad, and it just makes you wonder what in the world is going on in our nation's education sector. What is going on in this world? Okay. I mean, if you go to Asia now, I don't want to generalize, but where I grew up in that part of the world in South Asia, I mean, math, you got to focus on math. Math is like every parent's, I should say, every responsible uh, parent, um, all responsible parents, there's one thing that they really want. And I don't want to generalize, but this is just from my experience, from my observation, because I got my education in South Asia, and including my first year of university, it was in South Asia. Okay, I grew up in South Asia, and so my early education during my teen years, my first year of college, it was all in South Asia, and so I know that in the part of the world where I came from, parents are always thinking about their kids being good in math. You got to be good in math. I mean, not everyone is going to be a math expert, but you have to be, you have to have certain level of skill when it comes to math. Okay. And so when I see here in America, right, global superpower, advanced industrialized nation, we are doing so much of things in science and technology. I mean, we're the global superpower. We still are. Although, with Biden administration in office, it seems like we're falling behind, but we still are a global superpower. And it is just unbelievably shocking to see how American children who are going to school, they have such struggles with counting money, even like simple math, right? I mean, if somebody like if somebody says, you take $10 and $10.25 away from $20, how much is left? I mean, that is not something that you should need a calculator for, right? I mean that's really simple stuff that people can do in their head, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable to see, how some of the kids here struggle. Okay, I missed a whole bunch of comments here. Badgerton writes, what did you finally end up getting into? Okay, so in terms of subject, I got an undergraduate degree in political science. In fact, let me see. Mm, okay, I don't have the certificate here. I got an undergraduate degree in the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and then I got a Master of Public Affairs degree. And actually, I've got my certificate right here on the wall, so I can show it to you. So this is my Master of Public Affairs degree from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So um, I got my Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from University of Wisconsin-Madison, and then I have a Master of Public Affairs degree from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And in fact, um, I got my Master of Public Affairs degree from the La Follette School of Public Affairs at UW-Madison, at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And actually, today, my school, the La Follette School of Public Affairs, celebrated the 40th anniversary of the school. So pretty amazing. So I have a undergrad and a master's degree, political science and public affairs. Yeah, let's see some comments here. Um, JW writes, they are spending too much time learning about how to be a victim and DEI, their feelings, how to be an activist. Yeah, JW, the American education system needs some strong reforms, okay? I mean, some strong changes need to be made in the education sector. Susan writes, the girl at the 7-Eleven always says to me, how much do you want back? Then she just takes out a bunch of money and I make my own change. So Susan, you have to do your own math at the store. Oh, that's unbelievable. People struggle so much with counting, right, Susan? So, I mean, isn't that shocking, Susan, when you run into cashiers working at the cash register and they don't know how to do math? It's just shocking. JW writes, I went into IT. Badgerton writes, cool, I'm in finance. Oh, you're in finance. That's pretty awesome. JW writes, I kind of got into a niche group within that, and the pay and type of work is okay. It's decent, but not that technical, and it's not paid like coders, security networking, etc. Okay. Badgerton writes, some people in the community, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, can't even speak English properly. Have to speak English, right? I mean, I grew up learning English. English is my second language. My first language is Bengali. And I know Badgerton, you've seen at least one video, right? That I posted in which I spoke in Bengali. It was maybe sometime in the last couple months. Anyway, yeah, people struggle to speak English. I see that. And I think English is a language that really it's a universal language. Most people should be able to speak English, but not everyone, um, people living in other countries, not everyone can afford to be in a school where people learn English. So I understand how some people struggle. I went to an English medium school. That's what my parents chose for me, English medium school. And so all subjects, everything, all instructions were in English. So that's how I learned English growing up. Um, all right. JW writes, students in the US are falling behind. That is true, and it's a sad reality. Badgerden writes, financial math is some of the easiest. JW writes, so JW is asking about education system needing major reform. Yes, I agree. That's what I said. Absolutely. Major reform. Susan writes, I majored in landscape horticulture. That's wonderful. See, I get to know more about you all. So it's a great feeling. Financial math, Badgerden writes, financial math is not like the calculus used in physics. It's very arithmetic in nature. Badgerden, I loved calculus. I was very good in calculus. I spent a lot of time studying calculus, and I I did very well. I did very well. So differentiation and integration, all the calculus stuff. I just loved it. dy by dx, and all that. You know what I'm talking about? Calculus. I loved calculus. Anyway, let's see. Oh, we just crossed the 1 hour mark. How amazing. I mean, it's like time flies. I didn't realize we crossed the 1 hour mark. It's always such a pleasure. And I enjoy these conversations so much that sometimes I can't keep track of time. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see some more comments. Okay, so did anyone of you ever visit Wisconsin? Have you visited Wisconsin ever? Any of you? Badger Den, JW, Susan, have you been to Wisconsin? Badgerden writes, financial math uses arithmetic, algebra, statistics, and probability, and my favorite, matrices. I studied matrices. I did. Statistics is something that I struggled with, to be honest with you. I mean, it's kind of surprising that I was very good in calculus, but I struggled with statistics. All right. JW writes, no, never been to Wisconsin. Susan writes, never been to Wisconsin. You should visit Wisconsin. Visit Wisconsin. It's a great place. JW writes, been to Chicago several times, but not Wisconsin. Wisconsin is beautiful. Badgerden writes, I've only been to Chicago, never to Wisconsin. Well, if you come to Wisconsin, a couple places that I believe you should visit. Obviously, Madison. When you visit Madison, check out Lake Mendota and Lake Monona. Check out the downtown area. Check out the Memorial Union Terrace on UW Madison campus, on the University of Wisconsin-Madison campus. Check that out. And then visit Lake Geneva. That's in Walworth County. It's one of my favorite lakes, Lake Geneva. Really, really awesome. And you can visit Lake Michigan, go to Racine, go to Kenosha, check out the lake shore, go to Milwaukee. Milwaukee has a really nice museum and obviously lots of things to do and see. And then go to Door County. Door County is where I'm going to be, hopefully on May 4th, because I'm scheduled to speak at an event there. So I'll be going to Door County, and I'll be speaking in Door County on May 4th. And it's one of the most popular places in the state. Let's see. JW writes, I'd like to visit all the states that you haven't been to before, but it's hard to take time away sometimes, plus everything so expensive these days. Everything costs more money, and that is actually hurting tourism. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable how everything is just so expensive, and there's shrinkflation. So you spend more money, but you get less stuff. By the way. When you visit Wisconsin, if you visit Wisconsin, go to Ripon, Wisconsin. because that's where the Republican Party started, right? Republican Party started in Wisconsin, in Ripon, Wisconsin. And so if you are in Wisconsin, you got to go to Ripon, Wisconsin, the birthplace of the Republican Party. Um, all right. So, I'm wondering if there's anyone else in this live stream who has not participated in the live chat yet. Anyone else who's watching this live stream but has not participated? You can just write your name, give this video a thumbs up, write a comment, write a question, and participate. See, we're having a great conversation. I want this to be a conversation. I always say that. And so if there are people who are watching but did not participate yet in the conversation, please do so. JW writes, just say hi. Exactly, just say hi. Just write hello or hi. Or you could just write your first name, write the name of the state where you're from. I want to see more and more people participating in the conversation. See, we get to share information about each other. Like we were just now, we were sharing information about, who studied what, and so that's how we get to form a community. Let me see. JW writes, sometimes people might be driving in car or cleaning dishes, LOL. That's a strong possibility. Yeah, maybe people have this live stream on that they are maybe cleaning dishes or having dinner or something else. Maybe they're driving and they have this phone on the phone stand and just listening to the discussion. I understand. Yeah. If you're driving, no need to. If you're driving, don't text and drive, as they always say. All right. So, okay. Well, I see more people have joined this conversation. Yeah. Yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? When was it? Anyway, sometime in the last few days, we were discussing whose birthday is when. And I think Terry had said that her birthday is this month. And then Pamela Hernandez, I don't know if Pamela Hernandez is here today for this live stream, but Pamela Hernandez also wrote that her birthday is in April. I think one was the 16th and one was the 23rd, if I remember correctly. And let me just see. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so Terry's birthday is April 23rd. I think that's what she shared. And so Pamela Hernandez might be the 16th, might be today. I don't know. I'll have to go and look at the live chat from few days ago, or maybe it was yesterday. I can't. No, not yesterday. It was sometime in the last few days. Hello from upstate New York. Now let me remember. You mentioned your name's Tom. Is it Tom? I'm trying to remember. The viewer who wrote from upstate New York. Are you Tom? See, I'm trying to remember everyone's names. I'm going to wait for you to respond. Let me see. JW writes, to be honest, I do that a lot. I don't participate in most of the chats, but this one, I'm usually sitting down and catching up on work. Okay, great. Yeah, no, I completely understand. If people are tuning in and they are listening and they don't want to participate, that's absolutely fine. I still welcome everyone who tunes in. You don't have to participate in the live chat if you don't want to. So I'm saying this to anyone who doesn't participate in the live chat. You don't have to, but obviously I'll encourage, because the more people join this conversation, the more we can learn from each other, the more information we can share, the more we can get to know about each other, and find out what different people think about different issues. Okay, let me see. So I had a question for the viewer who just joined from upstate New York. I'm trying to remember what you said your name was. What was it? Tom. Was it Tom? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'll pause for a little bit. Let me see. Tom, yeah, I think you're Tom, right? All right, I'm gonna wait here. Wow, it's amazing. We're past 1 hour and 11 minutes. That's great. This week is has been busy but productive and nice. The only challenge I'm facing really is my allergy. This allergy issue. It's not fun. The allergy medications help, but you can't fight nature. This is allergy season. I have to get some pure honey. I keep forgetting. I like honey with my tea. I have to get some honey. Anyway, any more comments, my friends? Anything else you want to ask me? Anything you want to discuss? Please let me know. And my allergies are really bothering me. Just excuse me. I'm very sorry that I'm having to do this. Okay, it's just a real struggle sometimes. All right. Any more comments for me? Any more questions, my friends? I can continue this conversation, but if you have comments and questions, that'll be great. JW writes, did you guys already talk about Denver mayor today? Yes, JW. So I can repeat a few of the things I said. I already talked about the Denver mayor. So what's happening in Denver really is just another big example of how the Democrats in Denver are putting illegal immigrants first, and American citizens are not getting any priority. Okay, so Denver is basically cutting police budget by $8.4 million. So Denver is cutting police budget by $8.4 million, which is about 1.9% of its budget. Okay, and the city is allocating $89.9 million to help the illegal immigrants. Okay, so now in Denver, the elected officials, they are cutting police budget to provide tens of millions of dollars to the illegal immigrants. And I talked about how Mayor Mike Johnston of Denver, he seems to be competing with Mayor Eric Adams to secure the position, the number one position in the list of the worst mayors in America. I say that Eric Adams of New York is the worst mayor in America, and some would say it's Brandon Johnson, but I still think it's Eric Adams. But now it seems that Mike Johnston of Denver may be aggressively competing to become the worst mayor in the United States. Okay, I mean this guy, it's just unbelievable. Cutting police budget. Can you imagine that? Cutting police budget to give money to the migrants? Unbelievable. But that's happening in Denver. About how much they are cutting back on all kinds of city services, including police. I don't know. I'm sure the number is out there, but I don't know exactly how much they're cutting overall. But police department budget will reportedly be cut by $8.4 million. Okay, so it is. I'm like sometimes I'm like speechless. I don't know what to say. Susan writes, honey with ginger is good. Yeah, some black tea with honey and ginger is really, really awesome. I might have to get that. Susan writes, I think some lawyers should sue these cities on behalf of the homeless. If they can support the illegals, they should help their own homeless first. That is a great point. That is a great point. The homeless. I'm not, once again, I always have to say this because I'm not a lawyer, because I'm not a law professor, because I don't have a law degree. Hard for me to comment on the merits of such a case. If somebody does file a case like that on behalf of the homeless, um, I don't know. What the argument, I mean, I don't know the legal aspects of filing a case like that, obviously, but the lawyers would know. But Susan, I'm glad that you brought that point up, and so if there's any lawyer watching, or if some lawyer in Denver ends up watching this video, Susan's got a great point. Can the homeless individuals sue the city of Denver? Because how can Denver come up with money for the illegal immigrants and not for the American citizens who are homeless? And obviously, including many veterans, homeless Americans, and American veterans who are struggling. JW writes, good point, Susan. I really feel for these homeless people and some of the inner city kids who no longer have a rec center to go to after school because migrants now sleeping there. Yeah. So it's like American citizens are being displaced, they are being pushed away, and resources are going towards the illegal immigrants. It's really sad what's happening. It's really, really sad what's happening in Denver. Once upon a time it was a great, great city, and now these Democrats, they are ruining the Denver economy. It is unbelievable. All right, my friends, we are past 1 hour 17 minutes, so I may be wrapping up this live stream soon, unless you have questions or comments that you want to share. Obviously, I'll try to come back tomorrow and do another live stream. As you know, it's my goal to do a live stream every night. So unless I'm outside, unless I'm sick or my allergies worsen, or I get busy with something else, I will try to do a live stream. So Tom has a question. Tom writes, on fairness, one comment. So Tom, go ahead. What's your comment? What's your comment, Tom? I'm gonna wait for your comment. So Tom writes, our federal forfeiture laws. Okay, what about the federal forfeiture laws? I don't know much about those, so I'm here to find out. What's your question? I don't know if I can answer the question, but if you ask the question, it's available for everyone to see, and somebody else may try to answer it. How many know over 99% never get a penny back? Penny back from what exactly, Tom? Oh, when assets are seized or something? Is that what you're saying? So, my friends, I don't have expertise on what Tom is saying about federal forfeiture laws. So, if anyone out there has any comments or would like to get involved and try to answer or address this comment, feel free to do that. Tom, I am looking up federal forfeiture after reading your comment, and I can see that there's like civil judicial forfeiture, administrative forfeiture, and seems like there are different kinds of forfeiture. But I don't I don't have expertise to talk about it, so I don't know what to say. But because you have asked me, because you've brought up this point, now I'm eager to learn more. So I'm going to be doing some reading on this, but um, I don't have the expertise to address this comment. Yeah. So, great question, I guess. Great point. I don't know much about it. I'm sorry. But if somebody else does, please jump in and try to answer that. Okay. All right. So that's something that somebody needs to look into. Uh, so does the law vary state by state? Oh no, you're mentioning federal forfeiture law, so it's all federal. It's all the same, no matter what state. But are there state forfeiture laws too? Okay. All right. All right, Tom. Well, um, thank you for bringing that up. And I think because of your comments, the people who are watching this live stream and those who are looking at the chat window, uh, I'm sure there's enough curiosity generated now that people will try to look into it. I'll try to look into it because I don't know much about it. So thank you for that. I wish I had a law degree. I have a Master of Public Affairs degree. I don't have a law degree. If I did, I could do some research on it. But thank you so much for mentioning it, Tom. I try to be on. I I try to I share only what I know for a fact. If I don't know something, I'll just honestly tell you that I don't know that. JW has a question. JW writes, "Did you experience that personally, Tom?" Great question. So, Tom, feel free to answer if you want to. Uh, okay. Tom writes, "Unfortunately." Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Now I'm curious to read more about it. I'm looking at the chat window to see if there are further questions or comments on it, because I honestly I don't have anything to add to this issue of federal forfeiture because, as I said, I don't know much about it, and then I'm not a lawyer, so um, I don't know how it works exactly. All right. So I took my certificate of the wall to show it to you all as we were talking about the various degrees. Now I'm gonna have to put it back. Let's see. Yep, I put it back now. All right. Okay. JW writes, I don't know much about it either. All right. So maybe this is something that somebody with an expertise can discuss at some point. We can do some searches on the internet to see what it is exactly. Um, so Tom is sharing, I think, about his personal experience with this issue. Okay. All right. All right, Tom. So Tom is sharing, I think, some of Tom's personal experience. Okay. Well, Tom, sorry to hear that you've had some negative experience in the legal system. We were talking yesterday about the legal system and fairness and unfairness. So anyway, my friends, we are approaching the 1 hour 30 minute mark here. So let's see. Okay. All right, Tom, I'm gonna wait for you to write your comments because I see your writing. So I'll pause for a little bit. So Susan is writing about some other YouTube channel, I think, where this issue is discussed. Hmm. Okay. So Susan is sharing some helpful information about. Um, okay. So it seems like Tom is already aware of what Susan just mentioned. Okay. All right. See, this is exactly what I mean when I say that I want this channel to be a community because I see, people engaging um, in conversation with each other in the live chat. So it's not just me speaking here. It's not just the viewers talking to me, but they're talking and discussing among themselves. So, this is really a community, and thank you all for your participation, for staying engaged, for staying involved, and for understanding how important it is for us to be vocal, to be fearless, to share our thoughts, to share our opinions, to share our views on this channel and in general. So, really, thank you, everyone. Now, because I see that Susan and JW and Tom, they are discussing this issue. Would you like to discuss this further, Tom? Do you have anything else to add? I don't want to end this abruptly, so I want to make sure that, and I'm in no rush. I can stay longer. I just want to make sure that if you don't have, um, oh yeah. So Tom, I see your comment. See, that's the thing. This is what Donald Trump talks about. That Donald Trump, he's got a lot of wealth, and he understands. He can hire a lot of lawyers, and he's a very brilliant businessman. He's very knowledgeable, very experienced, and you see what he is going through, what Donald Trump is going through, how the Democrats are throwing cases after cases at him, lawsuits after lawsuits, and how he's being dragged to court, and how he's now tangled up in different legal matters. And so it's kind of sad to see what our former president is going through. And then obviously the next point somebody would mention is if the activist, if the activist lawyers and judges, if lawyers and judges driven by their political beliefs, if they can create so much of trouble for Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is innocent, but still he is going through so many legal cases and so much of challenges and so many court appearances. If the Democrats can do this to Donald Trump, a wealthy man, a powerful man, a former president, then how can average Americans have faith in this legal system? But as I always keep saying, um, we have to have hope. I know that the legal system is it can be improved significantly, okay? And obviously we can't generalize the legal system because there are municipal courts and county circuit courts, and then you've got federal court and state Supreme Court and US Supreme Court. So it's a big system, and I don't want to generalize and say, oh, it doesn't work or it does work, it's unfair or it's fair, because making those big generalizations is not a good idea, right? But I do recognize very much that the legal system needs significant improvements. Significant improvements. What's happening to Donald Trump? This is very, very unfair. And so the question is, if this can happen to Donald Trump, what what can happen to an average American who can't hire a lawyer, or who doesn't have millions and millions of dollars to fight these expensive cases? So anyway, let's see some comments here. Uh, JW is writing about Trump, um, and commenting on the legal system. Susan writes, the Democrats want President Trump to go broke. Well, people stand with Trump. I don't think Trump will go bankrupt. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do see how the Democrats are throwing cases after cases at him, which is resulting in massive legal bills, right? Obviously, because he has to hire expensive lawyers to fight these cases. And so I think the Democrats are trying to make sure that Trump spends most of his assets and money to fight these cases and to hire expensive lawyers. But I have strong faith that Donald Trump is going to overcome all these challenges and he's going to win. Um, uh, okay. So Tom is writing about his experience in the legal system. Well, thank you for sharing a little bit about your story, Tom. Obviously, you share whatever you wish to share, because this is sort of a public forum, right? People can see this. So share only what you're comfortable sharing. Let's see. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that I see some comments about lawyers. Yeah, in any legal matter, it's important to choose the right lawyer. And so anyway. All right, my friends, we have crossed the 1 hour, 30-minute time mark. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to wrap up this live stream. I appreciate you all joining. Thank you so very much. Tom, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Susan, thank you so much. JW, Badger Dan, I appreciate each and every one of you joining this live stream and participating in the live chat. Thank you so very much. And I'm going to end this live stream here in a minute or so. I don't want to abruptly end it. I want to make sure that people have an opportunity to write some concluding remarks. So Tom writes, thank you. Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule, your life, to participate in this live chat. I truly appreciate it. So Tom, Badger Dan, JW, Susan, thank each and every one of you. I appreciate it. So I'm going to end this live stream. I will be back tomorrow, and stay connected with me. Stay tuned for more content, for more information, for more commentary, for more live stream. And please tell your friends about my channel. Help me get more subscribers. Help me grow the size of this community. So thank you, everyone. JW writes, have a good night. Have a good night, JW. And Tom, Susan, Badger Den, each and every one of you. Have a wonderful night. I'll be back again with more content, more videos, more live stream. Have a wonderful night. See you soon. Thank you.